Alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sit. How are you doing? Today is Friday. Did any one of you notice or know any special prayer being observed on Friday?
No.
Okay.
Jum'ah prayer, sir.
Jum'ah prayer. So our today's topic is Jum'ah prayer. So what is meant by Jum'ah prayer? Jum'ah prayer, you know, every day as a Muslim, you must observe 5 daily prayers, which are Subh, Dhuhr, Asr, Maghrib, and Isha. But as for Subh, on Friday, we Muslims, we do not observe Dhuhr prayer. The prayer we observe on Friday to replace Dhuhr prayer is called Jum'ah prayer. Do you get me? So Jum'ah prayer, if I want to define a Jum'ah prayer to you, I will say Jum'ah prayer is a congregation prayer performed on Friday at noon, replacing Salatul Dhuhr for those required to observe it. So Jum'ah prayer is observed to represent Dhuhr prayer. Dhuhr prayer is the initial prayer being observed at noon. But for Dhuhr prayer, for Jum'ah prayer, it needs some requirements before we can observe Jum'ah prayer. Inshallah, we shall talk about the requirements later on. But the definition, I want every one of you to observe it very well and understand what is meant by Jum'ah prayer. Jum'ah prayer is a congregation prayer that it must be observed together. Individual cannot observe Jum'ah prayer. So it must be observed in multiple of people will come together to observe Jum'ah prayer. On Friday, it must be on Friday. So after knowing the definition of Jum'ah prayer, so what is the importance of Jum'ah prayer? So Jum'ah prayer is important. The significance of Jum'ah prayer. It was said in the Holy Quran, Surah Al-Jum'ah. Allah said, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا نودي للصلاة من يوم الجمعة فاسعوا إلى ذكر الله وذروا البيع ذلكم خير لكم إن كنتم تعلمون. صدق الله العظيم. The meaning is that all who believe, when the call is made for prayer on Friday, that means for Jum'ah prayer, hasten to the remembrance of Allah. Allah commanded us to hasten. Immediately we heard the calling to prayer on Friday, we must hasten, leave all what we are doing to pray. Allah said, hasten to the remembrance of Allah and leave all trade. When you are in your shop, in the market, you must leave your trade. Whether you are buying or selling, you must leave whatever you are buying or selling. Immediately you hear the calling and go to observe Jum'ah prayer. In the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the Prophet said, "Khayrul ayyam tatlu fihi shams yawm al-jum'ah." The best day of which the sun rises is Friday. It is the Prophet acknowledged the significance and the importance of Friday. So let's leave the importance. Let's go to the conditions for Jum'ah prayer to be obligatory. Conditions. The first condition that will make Jum'ah prayer to be obligatory and compulsory is a Muslim. If you are not a Muslim, you cannot observe Jum'ah prayer. Likewise, the other prayers. Even so, as you are not a Muslim, you are not allowed, you won't be allowed to observe the prayer. Even though you observe the prayer, your prayer will not be accepted. It will not be valid until you become a Muslim. That's the first condition. The second condition is being a male. So for a female, either a young lady or an old woman, Jum'ah prayer is not compulsory for a lady. So it's only compulsory for the male. The first condition must be a Muslim. The second condition is what? You must be a male. But as for a male that is a Muslim, if a male intentionally forsake Juma prayer and leave it intentionally, he will be punished for leaving Juma prayer. The third condition is adults. A small boy, Juma prayer is not compulsory upon him. But an adult, you know, the range of an adult in Islam starts from 10 to 12 years. If you are to follow the condition, the rulings of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the Prophet said, encourage your male child or your female child to observe prayer when they are 7 years. Just encourage them, don't beat them. But you must beat them when they are 10 years old. So from 10 years old above, as a male, you must observe Juma prayer. That's the third condition. The fourth condition is resident, not a traveler. That's the fourth condition. The fifth condition is freedom. A male adult male that is free. But if you are not enslaved, that you are free, you are not under any captive. So Juma prayer is compulsory upon you. Then the last condition, which is the sixth condition, is LD. If you are an adult male and you are a resident and you are free, but you are not healthy enough to go for Juma prayer is not compulsory upon you. Likewise, other activities in Islam. If you are not healthy to observe the act, it is not compulsory upon you that time, that moment. But if you are immediately you are healthy to perform the act, it is compulsory upon you. When you leave it, then you will be punished. But that are the 6 conditions that will make Juma prayer to be obligatory. So after looking the conditions for Juma prayer, let's take a look at the structure of Juma prayer. How is it observed? Is it observed like Zoom prayer? No. Juma prayer is different from Zoom prayer, though the time is the same. The time we observe Zoom prayer is the same time we observe Juma prayer. Structure of Juma prayer. Juma prayer must be preceded with 2 sermons, 2 khutbah. Before we can observe Juma prayer, there must be a given sermon, 2 sermons given by the Imam. Is compulsory. Any Juma prayer without sermon is invalid. For a valid Juma prayer, it must be preceded with 2 sermons, khutbatain. First sermon consists of the praise of Allah, the reminder to the people, and Quranic quotation. The second sermon, after the first sermon, the Imam will rest a bit. After the first sermon, the Imam will commence the second sermon by raising supplications upon the Ummah, blessing to the Prophet upon the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and further advice to the people. So immediately after the 2 khutbatain, 2 sermons, the Imam will lead the Muslims in the 2 rakahs of prayer, performing congregation. It must be together, and the recitation must be loud. You know, as for Zoom prayer, the recitation will not be loud, it will be silent for Zoom prayer. But as for Juma prayer, the recitation must be what? It must be read aloud. Then you perform all the necessary steps and bring its taslim. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah, assalamu alaikum warahmatullah. That's about the structure of Juma prayer. So that's about the structure. But before we proceed, let's look about the etiquette. Juma prayer has etiquette in which a good Muslim must follow. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam led these etiquettes for us so that we can acquire and possess rewards excessively from Almighty Allah. The first one is taking a ritual bath on Friday. For every Muslim, adult Muslim, that is a male or female, is necessary for him or her to perform the ritual bath like the other baths we perform in Islam. The second etiquette is wearing clean, good clothes and applying perfume for men. On Friday, we are encouraged to put on the best of our clothes, and it must be clean, well ironed. And for the men, it is we are encouraged to apply perfume to our clothes. But for women, it is prohibited for women to apply perfumes or any kind of perfume on our garments. The third etiquette is arriving early and sitting close to the imam. We Muslims are encouraged by the Prophet ﷺ to arrive early on Jum'ah prayer so that we can listen to what the imam is about to tell us, the advice, the admonition of the imam. The two sermons will be read aloud to us so that we can gain from it. The fourth etiquette is walking calmly to the mosque. When going for Jum'ah prayer, we are encouraged to move calmly. The Prophet ﷺ, he highlighted the rewards for those who go to mosque calmly. So he said, for every right step he or she take, he will have 10 rewards. For every left step, 10 sin will be cleared from his sins. So we are advised and encouraged to walk to mosque calmly. The fifth etiquette is reciting Surah Al-Kahf on Friday. Every Friday, we are encouraged to read Surah Al-Kahf for those who know how to read. But if you can't read Quran, Surah Al-Kahf, we will be advised to hear from those who can read or listen to MP3 that has Surah Al-Kahf on Friday. The sixth one is avoiding talk during the khutbah. When the imam is giving sermon, we are discouraged to talk, or said it is prohibited for us to talk. Even the Prophet said, if someone greets you, you must not respond to the greeting. Once you respond to the greeting, you have also make noise. So the last etiquette is sending blessing salawat upon the Prophet ﷺ on Friday. On Friday, we are encouraged to let our supplications to be many, and we should always send blessing to the Prophet ﷺ. Allahumma salli ala sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallim many times. These are about the etiquette of Jum'ah. So, can we observe this picture? This picture is illustrating an imam. This is how the imam will stand in front. So the Muslim will sit in front of him. So the imam will stand. The imam must stand while giving the khutbah. When the Muslim will sit before him, he will stand and give the two khutbah. So after the two khutbah, after the first khutbah, he will have a bit rest. Then he will continue the second khutbah. Then he will sit.